What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys don't mind the old school World at War gameplay over this commentary because we are going to be discussing the Season 2 patch notes in today's video. But just recently, well, last Saturday, basically, we went ahead and OG COD stream. So I thought, you know what, might as well just showcase some of the OG classics. I know you guys enjoy it, so might as well, flash it up here, even though it's irrelevant to what the topic of today's video is about. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, I do want to thank you guys for all the support on the Battlefield video the other day. Although I didn't really expect it to do that much, it still actually seemed like you guys actually were interested. So I'm very glad to see that the Battlefield crowd is still around on this channel. And again, do expect to see more Battlefield content coming up in the near future as more details start to drop for the next upcoming Battlefield game. But ladies and gentlemen, let me shut the heck up about all of this noise. Let's get into the actual real discussion of today's video, the patch notes for Black Ops 6 Season 2. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I am a tad bit confused on what these developers have been doing over the course of the past month plus. We have gotten no updates for multiplayer, and the updates that we do get are very minuscule. And they said we're going to be getting a beefy boy update here. And I gotta be honest, the Season 2 patch notes here are pretty beefy. But to me personally, it's just simply a whole lot of filler. A lot of bugs, a lot of things like that. But when it comes to the overall balance of the game to make sure that it's in a comfortable spot and it's not toxic and annoying to log into, they didn't do very much at all, and it kind of disappointed me. But ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive right on in. I'm going to leave the link to the patch notes down in the description of this video here, in case any of you guys want to go ahead and read along with me. I'm going to be starting off with Ricochet AntiCHE, their little, post here saying, as previously discussed in our recent community update blog, we are ramping up our fight against cheaters across both multiplayer and Warzone, with new security measures deploying throughout the coming seasons. Updates include enhanced detection models for behaviors like aimbotting, stricter account trust and hardware identification to target repeat offenders, and new tools to combat dishonest behavior such as playing with cheaters or attempting to spam report innocent players. We're also focusing on more precise tools, including major upgrades to the kernel-level anti-cheat driver and server-side systems starting this season and continuing into Season 3. These measures, combined with ongoing improvements and legal actions against cheat sellers, aim to deliver a more secure and enjoyable experience for everyone. I mean, honestly, guys, I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that the anti-cheat is getting improvements, but this is something that is just going to have to be shown with time. I can't really touch upon this topic at all until we actually play it in-game. Again, I'll tell you guys, my personal experience has been way better. I mean, the amount of cheaters that I run into current date compared to, previously, it's massively different. But every single time I load up a video saying something of that sort, everybody in the comments section is spamming that there are major cheating problems. So although I'm not really noticing too much, it seems like it's still relevant. So obviously with Season 2 coming here today, we'll see how it is. Again, I'll be testing it out on stream today, everything. So if you guys want to, tune in, that stream should be up around 11:30 a.m. Eastern time over on Twitch. But let's go ahead and move on to the rest here. Again, like I said, it's a lot of filler stuff, if I'm going to be honest with you. The next up here, it's, talking about progression and prestige. And honestly, I'm not even going to really bother reading this off to you guys. Again, you can go ahead and read it yourself. But again, it's just minor little things like, for example, addressing an issue that was causing the congratulations, your, master prestige screen to appear after every match for some prestige master players, minuscule things. Although it is annoying, it's not the end all be all of the game, In my personal opinion, the biggest problems were, how they're going to address certain things when it comes to movement and also when it comes to the overall balance of the game and weapons. So a lot of this stuff to me is a lot of filler things. And also they went ahead and change the challenge tracker in near completion. I'll actually read this off for you guys. We know our challenge chasers have been asking for the ability to track challenges, and we've been hard at work to add that functionality with Season 2. The challenge tracker makes it easy for players to manually track up to 10 camos and 10 calling card challenges they are actively working towards. But there is another element of the system that we think players will find useful on the journey to Dark Matter, Nebula, and 100%er near completion. Players who don't manually fill their tracked challenge lists will see challenges auto-populate that they are close to completing, making it easy to discover challenges you might not be aware of, or, yet give you a goal to go after in your next match. And again, I really like that. I think that's a good feature to just automatically populate some of the challenges. For example, maybe you're close to, finishing off a camo challenge and you haven't been really prioritizing it, and it's like, oh, you just need 5 more headshots to get this for this weapon. That would be nice to add in there for people who don't really hyper focus certain aspects of the game. But moving on to the rest that they had to say here. Your top tracked or near complete camo and calling card challenge can be seen in the lobby by cycling the daily challenge widget via right thumbstick on console or the R key on PC. From this view, players can enter each challenge type's tracked and near complete list to see the full list of tracked and near complete challenges. We're hopeful the challenge tracker and near complete system will help shortcut players to their challenges and make it easier to keep tabs on the challenges you're pursuing, both in and out the game. Again, cool stuff here, but like I said, it's just a whole lot of filler in my personal opinion. You guys might share a different opinion, and of course, leave it down in the comment section if you do. I'm always interested in everybody's idea of what's happening with Call of Duty nowadays. But to me personally, again, we just had the challenge tracker. In Modern Warfare 3 2023, this, in my opinion, should have been something that was implemented day one, but instead we're getting a whole post and description on them re-implementing it back in the game. Although they have made some minor improvements, like I said, it'll auto-track your closest challenges. At the end of the day, should have been there day one if we're going to be honest here, but it's a good quality of life improvement. I think people are going to be happy with this, especially the grinders. They also went ahead and changed the way the camos work, ladies and gentlemen. So instead of actually grinding out all 9 of the military camos, now all you have to do is grind out 5 of the military camos, and you can actually unlock these special camo challenges. I don't know how I feel about this. It's just making the camo grind way easier for other players, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, I never really thought that the military camos were that hard because all you have to do is just get headshots, but now all you have to do is complete 5 of the camos instead of 9 of the camos. But again, like I said, guys, am I wrong or am I right that this just seems like, once again, filler? It's like it's a lot of core problems wrong with Black Ops 6 right now. And the main thing that they're focused on is making the camo grind easier by dumping it down to only having to unlock 5 of the camos. And like I said, it's not even that challenging. All you need is headshots. So 5, 9, it doesn't really matter. It'll get done pretty easily. Seems, whatever. They also made some social and channels changes, which I actually kind of like, adding favorites only, where you can, put certain friends on your favorites list. As someone who actually streams open lobbies all the time, once again, I'll be live today checking out Season 2. If you want to hop into the open lobbies, by all means do so. This is going to be useful for me. I have a lot of you guys who added me up on the game who always want to squad up. It'll be very helpful to be able to, put the frequent people who hop into the stream into a favorite list, so when everybody comes on through, I can find their names very easily through the list of a lot of different individuals. But again, I don't know if anybody's really going to give a crap about these things. Once again, for a casual player, it just seems more so about filler. But we finally move on to weapons here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the first thing it says is addressed an issue where akimbo attachments did not properly display pros and cons. And secondly, addressed an animation pop when using certain muzzle attachments with the GS45 pistol. That's, minor little updates they have done. But they also moved over to another little post that has a description to it saying, we have a few global changes landing with the start of Season 2 that will affect all weapons. The first is an improvement to the weapon motion reduction on the Dexterity perk, which will make weapons feel even more stable while jumping, sliding, and diving. The second is a response to feedback that the weapon animations on respawn can get in the way of combat. These animations are now immediately interruptible when firing, aiming down sights, sprinting, or performing other gameplay actions. Lastly, we are tuning down bullet penetration significantly, as we have continued to see cases where bullets are passing through too much cover. Our first step in addressing this is to decrease the maximum depth that bullets can pass through for all materials. We have longer-term plans to make bullet penetration more intuitive and consistent, and we'll be introducing further improvements in future updates. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie, not bad. This one right here is actually some pretty decent changes. Again, we already knew about the Dexterity perk getting that buff, which I'm happy about. It is going to be improved from 60% to 70%. So if you're using Dexterity, you are getting an additional 10% buff to your, jumping accuracy, sliding accuracy, and I believe diving accuracy as well, which once again, as I said many times before, I am all on board with this change. I know a lot of people are going to share different opinions, but as someone who does enjoy, playing COD to, its core and the arcadey feel, the pinpoint accuracy a lot of the times, this is what I really like and enjoy, you know what I'm saying? It makes the game feel really smooth, movement smooth, it's enjoyable, especially with Omni movement being introduced into this game. I like that they are starting to reduce a lot of the visual clutter. Forget that noise. If you want to add a challenge, add a recoil to the weapons, and I still believe they should do that. But once again, like I said, this update's very underwhelming because a lot of the weapons didn't get anything really, man. Nothing really has been done. But again, I'm not there just yet. We're still on this topic, so let me not, jump ahead of myself here. But also, a little animation, basically. As you guys know, you can't fire, do anything when you spawn back into the game, and it gets you killed a lot of the time. So they actually went ahead and made it so you can ADS, sprint, do any action. It'll automatically cancel that animation, which is good because we've heard this complaint many times before in Call of Duty. It's very annoying to have to spawn in every single time and do an animation instead of just being ready for a gunfight, especially on a lot of the small maps. So, you know, at the end of the day, that's good. And reduced bullet penetration, I think, is huge because I get literally plucked across the map all the time, randomly. Nobody's intentionally trying to do so, but they're having an engagement with my teammate across the map, opposite end. And somehow, some way, I catch a stray bullet when I'm spawning in the game, and I'm like, what the heck's happening here? Now, that's either netcode or it's exactly what they're talking about here with bullet penetration. Very curious how they're going to handle this, but I like this because, again, it's going to add a skill gap to having to use FMJ. FMJ right now is useless. Literally, you don't need it. You can literally wallbang anything in this game whenever you feel like it. The only reason you would use FMJ is to shoot down streaks. This is going to make FMJ a little bit more viable, of course, if it actually functions and the guns don't shoot through every single surface in the game. But like I said, this is going to be something that we test over time. They also went ahead and adjusted the magazine attachment changes, which I think is really good here. Another large-scale change we are making is speeding up fast mag reload times. Our goal is for every magazine attachment to have a role across the many playstyles in Call of Duty, but we recognize that it can feel hard to trade away the larger mag sizes. We want to avoid adding more penalties to extended mags, so we are instead focusing on improvements to fast mags to make the selection more enticing. We are starting with reload times adjustments, but we'll continue to assess magazines to make sure players have more interesting choices and build potential with this node. And just for everybody to know, basically across the board, all weapons, they're getting improvements to the fast mags within the game, which is huge. Basically, it's going to be like sleight of hand. I don't know how it's going to feel. I feel like it should be incredibly fast, but I like this because this is going to add variety to the magazine, you know, play style. I don't really rock fast mags, if I'm going to be honest with you, because again, the reload speed isn't really noticeable. If it's really fast, maybe I will, but at the end of the day, that's what they need to do. And they don't need to nerf the actual extended mags. What happens is a lot of the time, these extended mag options give you a crap ton of recoil for absolutely no reason, and it's freaking obnoxious. They're not doing it, though. They're not going to touch upon the extended mags. They're going to keep them exactly where they are, and I think they're in a good spot. This is what has to be done. Don't nerf the other magazine options. Buff the fast mags to make them more viable and tempting to want to pick. You know, should I choose having more ammunition and not worrying about reloading in these scenarios? Or should I choose to actually have really fast reload times? But with how it is now, the fast reload does nothing, so everybody opts into extended mags. This is the way to go. So I'm very happy about this, but again, that's realistically, I'm going to be real with you guys. That's all they really did when it comes to the weapons, because the rest of it is absolutely useless and it's mind-boggling. And I can't believe that we're going to have to sit with the same meta, I don't know for how long. I mean, like I said, it takes these developers a long time to pump out updates. Modern Warfare 3 2023 with Sledgehammer, every update was massive, every single one, and they did them so frequently. It's been really sluggish this time around, and they're coming back, and I don't know when we're going to be able to see some meaningful changes. But ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it's not much for me to show to you guys. Again, you can go ahead and read along if you want to, but I mean, realistically, the moral of the story is that everything in the game that is overpowered did not get tuned. They buffed the shotguns to make them more overpowered. So we're going to discuss this later, which I'm not too happy about. And they also buffed the sniper rifles damage-wise, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, so ADS speeds, if you use ADS attachments, they're going to be faster. And also damage-wise, they're going to be stronger, meaning for more one-shot potential when it comes to medium range, pretty much across the board. And as you guys know, the majority of these snipers stomp. The SVD is a demon machine. I see the LW all the time. The barefit decal is disgusting. And actually, their reasoning for buffing the snipers is that the barefit decal is so consistent, I'm assuming. They wanted to try to get all the other sniper rifles to kind of match it. So this was their fix, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like the snipers were in a great spot. They're very powerful. I used them plenty of times. They destroy. I didn't really think that there was going to be any need to buff them again, but they went ahead and did so. But ladies and gentlemen, let me stop yapping because I know this video is probably getting pretty long and I don't want it to be long at all. You know, I want to try to cut it down as much as possible. But the first one, the Goblin MK2, got some adjustments here for the assault rifle category, which I'm happy about. They said the Goblin MK2 may be the most divisive weapon out there in the community. Some players absolutely love it, and a lot of players, well, strongly prefer other weapons. We're making a number of small improvements to help overall usability and consistency without affecting the weapon's identity. In particular, the maximum damage range increase will help with mid-range engagements, and we're giving it a bit more inflicted flinch than the average assault rifle to reward players who land that first hit. This thing is going to be a demon laser. I gotta be honest with you. The Goblin, I personally think, is underrated, and a lot of people don't like it because it's a semi-auto weapon, and I guess it's weird because it's not really a long-range semi-auto. I guess you can kind of deck it out to do so, but they want you to kind of move with this bad boy. You know what I'm saying? And it just kind of throws people off. But with this buff, the damage is going to be increased. And on top of that, they're adding more flinch. So compared to all the other assault rifles in this game, if you shoot someone with a Goblin, they're going to have increased flinch, giving you a better, opportunity. Which, again, I got to be honest, I'm kind of happy with this buff because maybe people will actually use it, have a little bit more variety within this game. But again, I highly doubt they will because, again, the rest of the meta didn't even get touched whatsoever. A lot of the completely busted, overpowered weapons are still exactly in the same spot. And all the underpowered weapons just never get touched. I mean, for the SMG category, they messed with the compact 92 3-round burst mod. I'm not even going to waste my time reading this off. I'm legitimately not going to waste my time. It's only for the 3-round burst mod. They didn't even bother touching the Jackal, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? Warzone, the Jackal got nerfed. They nerfed the Jackal in Warzone. But multiplayer, it's staying the exact same way. It's a reason why that thing is ridiculously overpowered and one of the most used SMGs in the game. It needed to catch something. And also, I would have liked to see a PP19 nerf as well. It might be a little unpopular, but the PP19, for me personally, is an assault rifle. I literally use that as an assault rifle. It's the best of all worlds. The fire rate isn't so slow that it's like the Tonto, where up close and personal, I get nervous about missing shots and losing gunfights. I can take it up close and destroy someone, while at the same time, long range, it has such a minimal recoil and such insane damage that I'm literally like 3-tapping people almost across the map. It feels like an MP40 from World at War. It's the most mental thing in the world, and it didn't catch any nerfs. I don't want it to get nerfed to the dirt like, with damage, but, maybe some damage range, long range, cut it a little bit so you have to get a few more shots in that long range, so it has to be treated like an SMG still. The thing is like an assault rifle, and it didn't even get touched. And then, like I said, the shotguns all got buffed, ladies and gentlemen. I'll read off what they said in the description. With this update, we are improving ranges and sprint to fire speeds on all shotguns. We know that some of these adjustments may look inconsequential, but shotgun balance in particular tends to live on a knife's edge. We want shotguns to play a greater role outside of our very smallest maps, and we will keep adjusting until we are happy with their usage. Oh, Lord have mercy on my soul. The Maelstrom has received some more pronounced changes as it was lagging behind the Marine SP and the ASG-89. It is now capable of a one-shot kill at very close proximity, and all its other ranges have received a larger boost than the other shotguns. We've also given it a small fire rate improvement to help its firepower without further changes to pellet damage. Well, ladies and gentlemen, basically across the board, again, they did put a lot of focus to the Maelstrom, but across the board, every shotgun caught a buff in damage range and also sprint to fire speeds. I'll be real with you. I liked how they were before. They're amazing up close and personal, and honestly, I'd rather keep it that way. There's two sides of people who love shotguns and hate shotguns within Call of Duty, and it's always going to be like that in every game. My opinion right here doesn't matter because in the next game, they might make the most overpowered shotguns, and then in the next, they might make the most useless shotguns. You never know how it's going to turn out. But from my perspective, I like non-realistic shotguns that don't resemble real life, and they're literally made for pretty much point-blank kills, unless, maybe it's like a shotgun like the 725 that has 2 shots and that's it and you gotta reload. But pump action, semi-autos, fully autos, I like them to be on a little bit of the weaker side because it kills the SMG combat if they are on the stronger side of things. SMGs become irrelevant when it comes to their given ranges. And like I said, you start to see people decking out SMGs to be assault rifles because that's the only way they can really be viable because shotguns will outgun them in every scenario. What would you rather have? An SMG that's going to take 3, maybe 4, 5 shots up close, or would you rather have a shotgun that's literally going to one-tap you at multiple different ranges up close? This was the problem with Modern Warfare 2 2022. The shotguns were ridiculous in that game. You could cross-map people with any of them, even the pump action, consistently, which killed SMG gameplay. SMGs were fun, but if you had a good shotgun user, there was no point in using an SMG because no matter what range you can get at for SMGs, the shotgun could still compete and destroy you easily. Within Black Ops 6, there's still a little bit of wiggle room. SMGs are viable in their given range, shotguns are viable in very close given ranges, and assault rifles are, a bit more extended depending on the type of assault rifle or how you deck it out. But right now, I feel like the balance was good, and I'm worried that after this change, things are going to get a little bit funky, and I don't know. But you guys let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. And they also changed the LMGs, the PU-21, which actually seems like a pretty decent change here. The PU-21 is intended to be a more lightweight LMG, with build opportunities skewing towards assault rifle handling and mobility. We're reducing the pre-fire delay by a little more than half to help fit the more aggressive playstyle, and are reducing deviation in its recoil to help with consistency in gunfights. Now, this can go one of two ways. This could be very fun and good, because as we all know, there is a pre-fire delay every single time you shoot an LMG in this game. So even if you do deck them out to be, kind of like an AR, they're not very fun because, the AR shoot instantly and you have a fire delay on the LMG still. So they're trying to give you at least one LMG that doesn't have that, which is going to be the PU-21. No more pre-fire delay. It's going to be pretty accurate, when it comes to competing with ARs, if you want to deck it out that way. But the problem with this is that you don't have to deck it out like an AR. You could still deck it out like a LMG with a crap ton of rounds and make it a demon machine, and it's still going to have the pre-fire delay. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to go one of two ways. Either the PU-21 is going to be ridiculously overpowered because it doesn't have a pre-fire delay anymore, or it is going to make it more fun to use as a, assault rifle styled weapon. But overall, I think that's a pretty decent change. And then marksman rifles, guys, I gotta be real. Once again, what happened here? What happened here? The only change is for the DM10. The game twist barrel improvement to bullet velocity was unintentionally low on the DM10. There will now be an advantage to using it over the reinforced barrel. So basically, they fixed a barrel for the DM10. The SWAT has been garbage since day one. The SWAT has literally been a trash can since day one of this game launching. They have not done a single update to this weapon at all. It is just getting abused at this point, guys. Why is the DM10 the only thing? I mean, like I said, I understand the barrel's getting changed around, but where are the meaningful changes? You know what I'm saying here? Like I said, the only thing here that really makes sense to me so far is the LMG. Everything else is like, whatever. Maybe also the Goblin, which is nice. But nothing's going to change the meta. The Goblin getting what it gets, it's still going to be a semi-auto weapon. You know what I'm saying? People are still going to be gravitating towards different, like the model, the Krig, maybe even the AK over the Goblin the majority of the time. Nothing wrong with that because at least the assault rifle category has a bit more variety, even though the Krig really is overwhelming. But the SMGs are just all over the place, and I can't believe they didn't touch any of them whatsoever that needed to be adjusted to make it have some more variety within the gameplay. I can't believe it. The Jackal is going to be dominant for ages. And then on top of all of that, the SWAT doesn't even catch a buff. I don't want to make this update out to be like it's the worst thing in the world, because it's not. There's some pretty positive changes. But like I said, I don't know what has been going on this whole time. They didn't even, update us about the blood splatter situation whatsoever. I didn't see anything about servers really within this update, so we're going to see how those turn out. The only thing they really talked on is, the anti-cheat, which we're going to see if it even works. But a lot of the major talking points weren't really up in here, and the meta shift didn't even happen. I think the people who are probably going to be happiest with this update are going to be sniper players, because the snipers caught a massive buff across the board. Like I said, all of them caught a damage buff, and all of them caught an ADS buff. That's just phenomenal. But everything else has just gotten it's going to be interesting. Shotgun players too, shotgun players are probably going to be eating good, but when it comes to just the mix here, I am a little skeptical. To say the least, I am a little skeptical here. What else did they really give to us, man? They made some changes to the special weapons, a pistol. Nothing important, really. The launchers got some updates, and they also got some good updates for the camo challenges as well, which is going to be nice. And they fixed a bunch of the challenges, too, so a lot of people who are having problems with the challenges, pretty much all of them are resolved. But that is like the majority of this update, guys. Literally, that is the majority of the update, is challenges being fixed. Something that took about 2 seasons to complete. So people who couldn't do the completionist grind or even camo challenge grind, it took 2 seasons until all these challenges are basically doable now for people who do want to, complete all the different challenges within the game. Seems like a long time. That's all I have to say. It just seems like a very long time. This stuff was fixed within like the first couple of patches of Modern Warfare 3. I just want to point that out here, ladies and gentlemen. This stuff was fixed in the first couple of patches, practically, with Modern Warfare 3. The whole weapon balance was fixed within the first patch for Modern Warfare 3. The only thing they messed up is that they nerfed the striker when it didn't need to be nerfed. That's all. Once they fixed that problem, I mean, pretty much all the weapons were really enjoyable to use within that experience. It really was. There were some that were definitely outliers, but it was nothing like the Jackal that we have right now. You know what I'm saying? Or like the PP19 being able to cross map. You know, they had their moments, but they all felt balanced enough in the overall grand scheme of the game. Whereas we have some very heavy outliers here in Black Ops 6, and it just doesn't seem like they're touching upon the right things. They also did make some changes to the spawns. Spawn logic has been adjusted to continue our efforts to reduce proximity to enemies when respawning. We have also added the ability to conduct live A/B testing with spawn changes to evaluate on a smaller scale, and if results are positive, we will roll those changes out globally. This will allow us to be more agile with spawn changes. You know, they talk the talk, but again, I already said many of times why the spawns are bad, the map size. And we're going to see how the new maps are. Like I said, just because these patches I'm not too positive about, we're going to see today on my stream how Season 2 is actually holding up when it comes to content and everything else, the new perk and stuff like that. It might be pretty solid. But like I said, the biggest problem with spawns are the maps. The map sizes. That's literally it. If the maps weren't the size of shipment 24/7, we would actually have some probably more decent spawns, but you can't have good spawns on maps the sizes that they are. So I'm hoping with the 2 new medium maps that are dropping, we can maybe see some better spawns within, you know, this overall experience. And they also made some changes to the movement here, ladies and gentlemen. They said right here, we are continuing to monitor Omni movement feedback and, of course, playing the game ourselves. And we'll see about that. We are currently testing slight reductions to initial slide speed and duration to improve predictability of engagements when opponents enter with a slide. Additionally, we are always evaluating areas for improved fluidity, whether those are specific to movement mechanics or other mechanics, like the ability to interrupt weapon raises during respawns that we highlighted above. And they also went ahead and reduced collision with teammates, which is a good thing. This should improve the ability to maneuver around tight spaces like doorways with nearby teammates, which is great because, again, all the maps are the size of shipment, and it's really annoying not being able to use the movement that well. This one I'm a little bit worried about because they're making some good buffs to the movement. I don't want to really see them tone down the movement, but again, they're just trying to make it a bit more predictable and less flying all over the place. Because let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen, the movement in this game right now, if you look at it and from, you know, a third-person view, it looks hilarious is, you know, the best way to put it. So, you know, I wanted to stay, you know, basically as it is because I like the movement skill gap, but like with any game, you got to find that middle ground for the casual players as well. So I think that more predictability with the movement is going to be a solid change. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all we have here when it comes to the patch notes. I'll be real. Like I said, my biggest thing that I wanted to see out of this was a good meta shift. That's really all I wanted to see. And they didn't really do any of that. We'll see how it is, you know, when the patch comes out here and we can actually try everything, including the shotguns and, you know, all that other stuff. But I still think the majority of the lobbies are going to be overran by pretty much Jackals. That's pretty much it, man. Jackals, some Krigs here and there. I don't see the Goblin taking over until other weapons are tuned down to, you know, make it more of an even playing field. And I'm usually against that. I am. Usually I'm a guy who says buff other weapons around it. But seriously, the Jackal is just on that level. I'm not lying to you guys. It is literally just simply on that level. It's on the level of busted. There's not much that you can do to really bring up any other weapon, because if you bring up any other weapon to the Jackal status, you're going to have every SMG outgunning every assault rifle player at every range, and it's going to be ridiculous. It has amazing ADS speeds, amazing movement speeds. You can put an extended mag on it, and it doesn't kill anything. Great recoil control, amazing damage and damage range, bullet velocity on point. You know, there's no negative to the Jackal, and it just makes it way too good. We'll see how they handle things moving into the future, but overall, I gotta be honest, I'm slightly disappointed with the overall fixes of this update. But guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Do you think that this was a good patch notes, or do you think that they were rough? I will admit there was a lot of stuff that's been fixed up, but like I said, all the core big problems with the game were kind of just overshadowed. It was just, you know, this is a whole lot of nothing, in my opinion. That's how I'm really viewing this update right here. A whole lot of nothing. They could have only, you know, had, you know, maybe like a 5-second read on the patch notes. But as long as that 5-second read was packed with very, you know, intense things that needed to be changed, that would be a lot more beneficial than having a massive load of patch notes with honestly not many important, crucial, you know, changes going along with it. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget subscribing at that bell. We post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And of course, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch. And of course, we're going to be checking out Season 2 today on stream. So if you guys are interested and want to hang out with me, I got a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you all next one. Peace out.